should have worn a hat.
Oh, really?
It's sunny, but I wasn't prepared for it either.
How about that?
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
What a beautiful day in Charleston, isn't it?
Yes.
Pardon me for taking a few extra minutes before we get started because I see so many beautiful friends here. It feels like old home week, doesn't it, Mayor Riley? Absolutely. It's such a beautiful day. We could just spend the whole morning here. Of course, we're here for an Arbor Day celebration and planting, and to particularly honor Mayo Reed. So wonderful, Miss Reed, Preston, the Reed family being here and represented. And also, we're going to have another planting, Molly, over on East Bay Street, and have one in honor of Pug as well, because the combination of Pug and Mayo's efforts to plant trees in this city has just been remarkable, and Mayor Riley will address that in more detail in a few minutes. So I want to again welcome everyone for being here. My friend Lonnie Hamilton is here, I guess particularly from Adventure Travel Days, but he and Mayo were dear friends, and Lonnie, it's so good to see you. I guess I'll start off with a little proclamation that's been prepared for the occasion, and then make a few remarks. Then I'll call on Mayor Riley, and we'll have the ceremonial planting of the tree, which is already well positioned for us, as you can see. The proclamation relays, I think we have some work going on behind us. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. So Mr. Morton had moved to Nebraska, and it was all prairie land and almost no trees, and he had come from somewhere back east where they were accustomed to having trees, and the heat of the summer with no trees was close to unbearable, and the wind had nothing to break it, so the erosion was terrible. So Sterling Morton came up with this very practical idea. Well, let's plant a tree. And on that day, when it was first observed, 1 million trees were planted that day in 1872, based upon Mr. Morton's effort. Whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heat and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, provide habitat for wildlife. And I would add to that list how effective trees are in absorbing water. And so just like Mr. Morton saw this need for the practical use of trees back in Nebraska in 1872, even with our existing canopy of trees here in Charleston, we have that same need today to address drainage and sea level rise and climate change, to help moderate temperatures and to help absorb water. We need the use of trees today, and that's why it's so important for us to keep this effort going. So I'm getting a little off script here from my proclamation, but I can't resist. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for homes, and fuel for countless other wood products, did you know that the #1 agricultural product in the state of South Carolina is wood product? #1 product. Whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the city of Charleston has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and intends to continue to carefully manage and strategically expand its local tree canopy. Whereas I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. Now, therefore, I, John J. Tecklenburg, Mayor of the City of Charleston, do hereby proclaim Friday, December 4th, as Arbor Day in the City of Charleston. So that's our proclamation for today. I do want to also recognize Charleston Trees, and many of y'all are involved with that organization. It's really a committee of the Charleston Parks Conservancy, which is led by Leslie Wade, who is with us back here in the back today. Leslie, thank you for taking the helm of Charleston Parks Conservancy. What a wonderful partnership you have with the City of Charleston. We thank you for Charleston Trees and all those efforts. Yvonne Evans, former city council person, is chair this year of Charleston Trees, and many of you may be on the committee. How many of y'all are committee members of Charleston Trees? We've got a few here. And I must recognize our former arborist, and he remains so committed to our canopy in the city and the care of trees. Danny Burbage, where were you? Where are you? You out there greeting everyone. He's on the committee as well. I want to introduce everyone to David Grant, who's our new city arborist. He's over there. He's doing a remarkable job since Danny retired. And of course, I think everybody knows Jason Kronsberg, head of our Parks Department over here. That the city staff has been just remarkable, planting trees, caring for trees. We do have issues sometimes when you plant a tree under a power line. You've got to be careful in the future to plant the trees that won't grow quite as tall, so Dominion doesn't have to come through and trim so profoundly as they sometimes do. Some of you knew Mayo Reed a lot better than I did, but I knew him, and what a man he was. I met him years ago. I think at first maybe socially or helping Mayor Riley, but I guess the most prominent memory I have was him coming to my business at Southern Arbor Company years ago to ask for money to plant trees. And so it's ironic for me to be here today and honor Mayo and also Pug. They were a team on that effort. But Mayo's sensitivity to the environment was far-reaching, not just in planting trees, in respecting our scenic highways. He served for many years on the state Scenic Highway Commission, and a loving family, father, husband, friend to many of us here today. A remarkable man. And I read the little poem this morning. It's maybe somewhat trite about trees. It's often quoted on Arbor Day, and it ends, I think y'all know, even a fool like me could write a poem, but only God can make a tree. So this thought occurred to me reading that this morning, that none of us really know what we will greet in the afterlife when we meet our Creator. And I was just thinking that maybe God will utilize some of our spiritual energy in the afterlife to help him on various projects. And I bet you if that's the case, that old Mayo Reed is up there just churning out some trees, helping God make some trees. Mayor Riley.
Thank you, Mayor Tecklenburg, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor, on all that you're doing, but most certainly your team at the Charleston City Parks Department, Jason and his team, because Charlotte and I have a little more leisure time now, and we love coming up to Hampton Park to walk. Might do that this afternoon, and it was just absolutely gorgeous and so well cared for. And so where is Jason? He's around here, right there. Jason, congratulations to you and all of your colleagues. I don't think there's a finer park in the country, and it receives wonderful, tender love and care from all of you. And I'm happy to be here for while we're here, but I had not thought of Arbor Day in a while. We would have an Arbor Day ceremony every year about this time, and my favorite Arbor Day was when we celebrated the oak tree planted on Cumberland Street between the parking garage that the city had built and a soon-to-be office building, and I was determined that there would be some shade on Cumberland Street and that we would get a tree planted, but I was fearful that the owner of the adjacent property where the office building was would get rid of the tree because they needed the space for a dumpster and all kind of stuff. So I knew that we had to do something there significant. So we planted the tree and then had a plaque installed right by it saying that it was honoring Arbor Day, and it was also the site of the original wall of the city, which we were unsure if that was accurate, but we said it was, and so that tree is doing fine. Next time you go down Cumberland Street, you see it winding around, and every tree and every branch is important. I think that I will never see a poem lovely as a tree. My apologies to Joyce Kilmer. Nor will I know a man as fine as he who would plant the trees. Mayo's forest extends beyond our horizons and, of course, will outlive us. But even as those crepe myrtles on Trad Street, the live oaks on East Bay Street, or countless other trees planted throughout our community, even when they pass away, generations from now will have inherited the ethic that Mayo Reed gave us. The community will always cherish, as long as it exists, the trees that nourish it. Their beauty, their color, shade, rustling leaves of thousands of trees Mayo gave us, and he gave us much more. Just as Mayo's trees grew straight and tall, as did he, his civic virtues enriched our community. I knew of no one more interested than Mayo or caring about his community, its beauty, our beauty, its success, its collective wisdom, its racial equity and justice and fairness, and it's the community's search for truth. No one as much as Mayo Reed. He instructed us about these virtues, not in speeches, rather in how he quietly led his life. He was teaching us all the while. And his trees will nourish us just as his life's example showed us the way. Thank you.
Preston and Mrs. Reed, if you would join Mayor Riley and myself. And we'll...
You got a shot. Absolutely. Total shot over there. I started with a pretty good size one, but see that one right over there? Just give this one a few. Right there. So, I saw another quote. It said, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. But the second best time to plant a tree is right now. So let's ready, 1, 2, 3. Take the one over the start filling around the hole, up on the top. We're trying to get some real work out of this. Daddy, garbage.
Some of those trees, like for those other men, David Starr. You can just name one.
To close us out, I'd like to call on Preston Reed to share a few remarks about his day.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mayor Riley. It's great to see everybody out here. We were very fortunate to have a very nice remembrance of Dad's life back in February, just before COVID started. So I see many of you here who were there, and we sent him off very nicely. But this is just such a beautiful day for this, and a gorgeous tree. And I hope I didn't put too much dirt right in the center there. I think that was corrected. But Dad would love this. I wish I could have ridden my bicycle up here today, because that's also what Dad would have loved. And that's, I think, one of the real benefits to all of us and to him, and why he was so passionate about the trees, because, you know, he was always out and about around the peninsula. And so that's what's so special about it. I had just came down yesterday morning. I had a business meeting with somebody who lives on Water Street, and met in his backyard, and I had the good fortune of talking to him. I told him I was coming down for the ceremony, and he said, "Oh, that's great what your father did." And I said, "Well, where do you live? I'm going to come sit with you in your backyard." And he said, "Water Street." And so I quickly pulled up Google Street View, and I said, "Well, right in front of your house are 2 crepe myrtles, and that's part of Charleston Trees and part of the legacy." So, you know, what a special thing. So thank you all for coming out. What a great day. Thanks for the support of the city of Charleston. This legacy really endures. There's lots and lots of people who are part of this, and Dad would be so proud. Thank you all.
Well, thank you, Preston and Mrs. Reed. God bless you. Mayor Riley, thank you for your kind comments, your remarks, and being with us this morning. Thanks, everybody. Let's hear a challenge from Mayor Reed to keep the legacy of planting trees alive in Charleston, and support Charleston Trees in their efforts in the Charleston Parks Conservancy. Have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you.